Welcome to the show, everybody. Joseph Robert, the fantasy football counselor. In this video, we're talking about 3 wide receivers to target in the mid rounds. And what I consider mid is around the 4th round to 6th to 7th round. Some of those guys that you want to target that I think are going to squeak under the radar. You can call them fantasy football wide receiver sleepers. That's okay. But 3 guys you want to target that I think a lot of people will sleep on in and around the 4th round. Let's get to it.
Hey, it's Josh Jacobs, and you're listening to Fantasy Football Counselor.
Welcome to the show, everybody. Joseph Robert, the fantasy football counselor. I'm ready to give you guys 3 wide receivers you can target in the mid rounds. I would say 4th, 5th, 6th round, depending on where the ADP falls. I don't know yet, guys. It's still pre-NFL draft. I start mock drafting after the NFL draft, so I'm going to see where their ADP falls. But hey, I'm creating some fun content for you guys to get you guys ahead of everybody, because a lot of people, these analysts aren't even creating content right now, or not even content that's really viable that you can use. So I'm out here getting your mind thinking, your neurons firing, getting you guys in that fantasy football zone. And I really think people are going to be sleeping on these guys. And you can get these guys in the 4th round, or 5th, 6th, or 7th round, depending on where they fall, for major value. 3 wide receivers. Before I get into that, guys, get the 16-round draft solution, the first ever and only video trading guide. Is going to help you guys dominate your fantasy football leagues. There is a link here below on YouTube, or head on over to thefantasyfootballcounselor.com. Dominate your draft with 16 rounds. And of course, guys, smash thumbs up and leave a comment below. Let me know what you think of these wide receivers, okay? I'm excited. I'm excited to share these guys with you because I think they're going to be great value. All right, first guy I want to talk about here is DK Metcalf. Love the upside, guys. He finished 33rd last year, currently sitting in and around 24th amongst wide receivers, according to the consensus. Listen, guys, when you look at DK Metcalf, now I'm looking at his stats last year, 900 yards. That's not bad. 7 touchdowns on 100 targets, 58 receptions. From what I heard already, guys, there's been some buzz, which is really exciting. They're saying that DK Metcalf is going to be integrated more into that offense, more routes for him to run, maybe more of a red zone target. It doesn't matter, because he's going to probably be a wide receiver 2, 3 on your team, and you're going to get him for really, really good value. And that's what I'm excited about, guys. You do not have to waste an early pick, an early fantasy football draft pick on a wide receiver early, because you want to load up on those running backs, and you can get guys like DK Metcalf later that have that top 10 potential. Now, I'm not saying Metcalf's going to finish top 10. He could. Anything can happen. It's fantasy football, but I love the upside. And listen, what I like about Russell Wilson, he was 12th in attempts. So one thing when I do look at wide receivers, okay, I look at volume and I look at who's throwing the ball. Russell Wilson threw 12, he was 12th in attempts. That's not bad, right? So there is targets to go around, and I genuinely feel that Metcalf's going to be a beneficiary of that. So DK Metcalf's a guy I like, and I don't know where his ADP is going to fall right now. Again, the fantasy football consensus rankings, the consensus, have him currently sitting in and around the 24th range. That could come up a little bit depending if there is and when preseason starts, and if we hear a little more buzz in the news. But again, I've already been hearing, again, they're going to utilize him a lot more. So DK Metcalf, mid-round guy, great talent. You load up on running backs, get yourself another wide receiver, and then Metcalf, and now you're locked and loaded. You got 2 possibly solid wide receivers, and there's a ton of other wide receiver sleepers. And I talk about that. So make sure you guys subscribe. Subscribe to this #1 fantasy football podcast. I'll help you guys dominate. I'm thinking outside the box. This isn't just like, hey, these guys finished on top last year, draft them in this order. This is not consensus. This is thinking of strategy, thinking of opportunity, thinking of targets, thinking of volume, thinking of coaching, situation, offensive lines, defensive line, attempts, volume. I look at every possible variable, guys. The Cuddy system, consistency, upside, durability, depth, youth, the criteria that a player has to fall on before they end up on your roster, because you want to be super, super picky before you draft any player on your roster. You don't just go by ADP. You do not just go by consensus rankings. You go by strategy, thought process. You got to be meticulous with this. It's got to be surgical. That's what I do. That's why you got to get the 16-round draft solution. Link below. All right, DK Metcalf. Another one. I said 3 wide receiver targets to target in the mid-rounds. The other one I want to talk about here is STEFON Diggs. Guys, listen. Diggs had a lot of targets back in 2018, 150, fell down to 94 last year. We understand He was wanting the ball more. It didn't work out with him in Minnesota. Now he's in a new home in Buffalo. Now, here are my concerns here about him and then the upside in regards to him. Now, when I look at a guy like Josh Allen, he doesn't throw the ball. He's not a top 10 guy in regards to attempt, not even a top 20 guy in attempts. Hopefully, Josh Allen throws the ball more. That's number one. That's the first thing. Now, when you're looking at Diggs, he is clear-cut wide receiver one in Buffalo. I like him. This guy's going to be a value wide receiver, okay? He's going to be a ton of value. He's got a ton of upside, high ceiling, high risk. The only concern I have with him right now, and I'm giving you the variables. I'm saying you can target this guy mid-rounds. He's got the wide receiver one potential, but there is something you got to be cautious of. And again, that number one is that Josh Allen doesn't throw the ball much. And number two with Diggs, you got to be careful, is that Beasley is there and Brown. And these guys have that rapport with Josh Allen. And that's one of my main concerns. Now, I'm going to pull up here. I'm just going to take a look at the target count. John Brown had 115 targets last year. Beasley had 104. So that could be a good thing. It means that, yeah, they're not getting a bulk of the volume. They're not that top wide receiver, but it also shows that Allen could throw the ball a lot more. This is the similar type of situation that Hopkins is in with Kyler. Now, you could say that Hopkins is a better receiver than Diggs by far, but when you look at target counts, you got to be careful. Now, I want you guys to wrap your head around this concept. People are going to draft Hopkins. Okay, stick with me here. And this is the analysis. This is why you listen to me, right? This is why you get the advantage. Hopkins is going to be drafted in the first round. Okay? Remember, Fitzgerald maxed out at 109 targets last year with Kyler. Okay, stick with me. And Fitz is still there. Okay, so is there enough targets to make Hopkins a wide receiver one? No, Hopkins needs 160 targets to be a top 5 wide receiver, period. He needs a lot of targets, at least a floor of 150, right? Now, when you look at Diggs, you look at a guy, Brown, who had 115 targets, and that was their top receiver. So you're kind of in a similar situation with Kyler and Josh Allen, right? But yes, the ceiling is a little higher with Kyler, and I get it, and Hopkins is a little better. But then I'm still going to get Diggs. I'm going to probably get Diggs in the 4th, 5th, 6th round. I'm not paying a first-round pick. And they're both in a similar type of situation when you look at volume. And that's what I want you guys to consider, okay? Do you see what I'm saying? You're getting Diggs at a value in the 4th, 5th, 6th round, wherever his ADP falls, or you could waste a pick on Hopkins, who, again, the number one receiver in Arizona, maxed out at 109 targets, Larry Fitzgerald, and he's still there. So this is what I'm trying to get you guys to think of. You're trying to get value at wide receiver, and again, Diggs and Hopkins in similar type of situations in regards to volume count, in regards to how it kind of played out last year and them being surgically inserted into a situation where there wasn't a lot of volume. Hope that makes sense, okay? So again, Diggs, another guy, mid-round guy you could target that has the upside. But again, be cautious with Brown and Beasley because, again, that rapport with Allen. And the third guy here, I don't know if people are going to sleep on. Hopefully his ADP stays low, but I think it'll rise, is Cooper KUPP. Listen, now with Cooks not being there, you know, the Rams could target another wide receiver. I don't know. This is pre-NFL draft, but 134 targets, 10 touchdowns last season. Listen, I like the upside, finished 4th in PPR. I think the Chiefs are going to sleep on him. He's sitting 17th. And again, the reason they're sleeping on him is because he's not really a big name like Odell. But again, I think you can get this guy 4th round, and he could be your wide receiver one with a ton of upside. Hopefully his ADP falls, and you can get him at a really good value. But he is the third guy I definitely want you to consider. Now, again, going into his 4th year, hasn't been like amazingly spectacular. He came into his own last season, having 10 touchdowns as his pinnacle year. But I like it. I like the upside, guys. I genuinely do with Cooper KUPP. And I still think there's more of a ceiling. And again, where he's at, the rapport is there. We're going to have to see what the Rams do with their running game. Because again, that's a bit of a concern to me when I am looking at Cooper KUPP, is how potent is that offense? How good is it going to look? That's a bit of a concern to me, okay? Again, finished 4th last year in PPR. 1,161 yards. That's not bad. So we know that he's capable, and that's what I like. But again, I genuinely believe that the Rams offense is a little suspect. They definitely have to get that running game intact. Is it going to be Darrell Henderson? Are they going to get somebody else? Tons of question marks there. We're going to definitely have to see. But Cooper KUPP, a guy, 4th round, could be your wide receiver one. And again, when you are looking at wide receivers, here's a wide receiver fantasy football draft strategy, guys. Some draft tips, some draft advice. Listen, there's a ton of volume at wide receiver. There's, like, for example, like last year, Shark, right? Everybody was sleeping on Shark. He broke out. Kenny Galladay, I was getting him in the 4th round where people were spending first-round picks on Odell. Literally, guys, there is more wide receivers out there, but there's only a hand select of running backs that are going to get the volume, guys. And that's why I'm telling you in the first 3 rounds, and I talk about this in the 60-round draft solution, link below, or head on over to thefantasyfootballcounselor.com. I tell you this, guys, secure those running backs early. Hoard them. Take them away from other people. Be a hoarder. You know, take those running backs away because there's only a select few that are not in a committee, and you need to be the one to have them on your roster. You can never have enough RB depth, okay? Very important. So Cooper Kupp, Diggs, DK Metcalf, 3 wide receivers to target after the 4th round, which I call mid-rounds. And again, they're going to give you a ton of upside and a ton of potential volume, and they're technically the wide receiver 1 on their team. DK Metcalf, you never know, but again, the ceiling is high there. And again, I like Russell Wilson. So that's it, guys. There you go. Just giving you guys bite-sized information here. Absorb it, take it all in, and make sure you guys are subscribed. Leave a comment below. I'm going to be doing a lot of sleeper videos, a lot of potential bust videos, a lot of top 10 videos, a lot of content coming your way on the #1 fantasy football podcast right here. Smash that thumbs up, subscribe, and I will see you guys in the next video.